I walk through the large wooden gates, stretching my arms and yawning as the warm sunlight hits me after the long journey from the ruins of civilization. The dusty town of Jackson stretches out before us, a mix of crumbling buildings and makeshift shelters. It's not much to look at, but it's home now. We made our way into town on the outskirts, keeping to ourselves, watching and waiting. The people here are wary of strangers, just as we should be of them. But something about this place drew me in. Maybe it was the smell of freshly baked bread wafting from a small bakery on Main Street, or the sound of children's laughter carried on the wind. As we walked through town, taking in the sights and sounds, I caught glimpses of people who looked like us, scrappy survivors, eking out a living in this harsh new world. They're not like Fedra, with their neatly kept uniforms and strict rules. No, these folks are rougher around the edges, harder, like they've been through hell and back. Joel seems uncertain, his eyes darting from one face to another as if searching for something he lost long ago. I get it. This place is as foreign to him as it is to me. We've traveled so far and endured so much since those early days at QZ7. We've lost loved ones, seen horrors beyond imagination, and fought for survival in a world where death lurks around every corner. It's hard to keep going when the road ahead seems endless and unforgiving. But there's something here that gives me pause, something that makes me think we might just be able to make a life here, together. This place has a feel to it, a sense of community and camaraderie that's been all but extinguished in our travels. That's when Joel caught sight of Tommy, a rough man with a messy mop of hair and a kind smile. He seemed friendly enough, but different. That was the moment I learned about Joel's brother, Tommy. They smiled, and I could feel warmth I hadn't experienced in a long time. Maybe it was just because for the first time since Riley passed away, I felt like I belonged somewhere. But as we walked through town, taking in the sights and sounds, I started to notice something else. People watching us. People talking behind our backs. It's not surprising. Outsiders are rarely welcomed with open arms when the stakes are this high. We've been told by the fireflies that there are few immune children left. Few like me, wandering around out here with no safety net to speak of. But today, as I walk through Jackson's quiet streets, watching families together, smiling at each other as if nothing has changed between them, I begin to wonder, am I really the only one? The thought sends a shiver down my spine, something that's long been buried under all our struggles. Maybe there are others out there like me. Like Joel and Tommy. People who care about us. Not just as tools for survival, but as human beings with hearts that bleed and lungs that breathe in and out like anyone else's. As this thought takes shape in my mind, something inside me shifts. It becomes clearer than it ever has before that maybe, just maybe, our future doesn't have to be death and destruction. Maybe we can make a new start here. Find people who care about us without needing to fear for our lives. I glance over at Joel, trying to read his expression. He looks lost again, I realized with a pang of sadness. The pain of the past is still too raw, but maybe, just maybe, today marks the beginning of something new, something beautiful. Hope starts to bloom inside me as we walk through the quiet streets, surrounded by people who seem willing to take us in despite our troubled pasts. I feel like we might finally be able to lay down the burden of constantly running from one town to another, always living in fear. As the sun begins to set over Jackson's horizon, casting a golden glow across this makeshift town, something inside me whispers, "This could work." And with that thought, something within my heart stirs for the first time in a while. A sense of belonging, maybe even hope, starts to spread its wings, making me really think that we can make it through all this and still be human at the end of it. "Hey," I say softly, turning back to Joel. "I think we're okay here. I really do." Joel's face softens as he looks over at me, watching with a tender smile as for the first time in what feels like an eternity. His eyes look more hopeful than haunted. "Me too," he says quietly. A glimmer of the man before Sarah passed away peeks through once more. In that moment, anything seems possible. Even finding a new reason to keep going in this broken world.